Pakistan's terror tunnel has been discovered by security forces in Jammu's Samba district. The tunnel was used by the 4 JEM terrorists to cross the border and execute an attack. Terror is the latest evidence of Pakistan-backed terrorism. Just take a listen at this report.
Another Pakistani lie busted. More evidence that Pakistan is pushing terrorists into India. A tunnel discovered in Samba district of Jammu has revealed how the Jaish terrorists who were shot down in Nagrota entered India. The attack tunnel is 150 meters long with 20 feet depth. About 110 meters of it is on the Indian side of the border.
There you can see the terror tunnel. This was detected by the BSF based on the inputs that were provided to them by the Jammu and Kashmir police. And the 4 Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists who had infiltrated on the intervening night of November 18 and 19 had infiltrated through this tunnel. They had used this tunnel to infiltrate into Jammu and Kashmir, and this is a new modus operandi of Pakistan. Now it's pushing terrorists through tunnels into Jammu and Kashmir so that they can create mayhem in Jammu and Kashmir.
The tunnel, built under the international border fencing, appeared freshly dug with even steps constructed. Officials found tools used to dig the tunnel, biscuit wrappers and sandbags, all of which carried labels of Pakistani firms. The BSF said the tunnel was well camouflaged with soil and bushes to prevent detection.
There is a thick foliage of trees and heavy sarkanda. From where they have dug this tunnel. So observation in that area is difficult.
The tunnel clearly proved that the attack was well planned and backed by Pakistan establishment.
There are certain digging tools which also have been found, like a rope, some planks, and a few other equipments which are used for making of the tunnel. Those also have been detected here.
On Monday, Foreign Secretary Harsh Shringla briefed a select group of foreign missions on the planned attack in Nagrota and Pakistan's continued support to terror groups.
Sources in the security establishment have told us that there is presence of terrorists on the launch pads, terror launch pads on the other side of the line of control as well as on the other side of the international border. So that is why security forces are not taking any chances. Strict vigil is being maintained, and here enemy cannot be trusted. Enemy can resort to any kind of misadventure, but our security forces are ready to take on Pakistan and foil their nefarious designs. With video journalist Neeraj Kumar, this is Sunil Bhatt reporting from the international border in Jammu Samba sector for India Today.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be holding a virtual meeting with chief ministers on Tuesday. Prime Minister Modi will be holding 2 meetings with the chief ministers. The first meeting is with the CMs of states that have reported a steep spike in COVID cases. It will include chief ministers of Kerala, West Bengal, Haryana, Delhi, Rajasthan, Gujarat and Maharashtra, and is likely to be held from 10:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. The second meeting will be held with the chief ministers of all states put together. The second meeting will cover the COVID-19 situation across the country and will discuss vaccine distribution and strategy. The meeting takes place in the backdrop of the spike in numbers of COVID-19 cases across the country now, which has prompted certain states to implement new rules to decrease the gathering there. There's no respite in Delhi over COVID-19 cases. The number seems to be on the rise. In the meanwhile, Supreme Court today has wrapped Delhi government over its response to the pandemic. All this comes as Delhi reports over 100 COVID deaths in just the last 24 hours. Here's more on that.
An unrelenting surge in coronavirus cases haunts the national capital. A rising caseload isn't the only concern for Delhi. Increasing COVID deaths is another major cause of worry. Delhi's Health Minister Satyendra Jain blamed stubble burning coupled with COVID-19 as the reason behind rising toll in the city.
दिल्ली में जो पीछे पराली जलाने की वजह से बहुत पॉल्यूशन हुआ था, उसका कोविड के ऊपर बहुत ही नेगेटिव असर पड़ा था. जिनको कोविड था उसमें काफ़ी लोग धुएं की वजह से काफ़ी सीरियस हुए और उसकी वजह से दिल्ली के अंदर काफ़ी जो कोविड की डेथ हैं बढ़ी.
अगस्त सितंबर कर दूं।
Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan, chalking out the way ahead, said only more tests can help the capital.
हमें लगता है कि जैसे टेस्ट वगैरह थे, टेस्ट की संख्या जो है वो जिस तरह से बढ़नी चाहिए थी, उसमें भी जो RT-PCR का टेस्ट ज़्यादा होना चाहिए। अभी हमने दोबारा से मीटिंग करके अभी देखिए RT-PCR की जो कैपेसिटी थी हमने डबल कर दी। टेस्ट जो है वो डबल करने के लिए जो है कहा गया।
The Delhi government closed down a few markets that were found flouting social distancing norms, only to withdraw its order later and issued a warning instead. The warning, however, doesn't seem to have worked. Crowds gathered as soon as the markets were unsealed. The Supreme Court, meanwhile, has pulled up the Delhi government over the COVID crisis, which is worsening by the day. As Delhi battles its worst health crisis, the onus also lies on the citizens to maintain utmost safety. This is a war which can't be won without citizen participation. Bureau Report, India Today.
And several states are witnessing a spurt in COVID cases. The national capital has increased the fine for those not wearing masks to 2,000 rupees. States like Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Himachal Pradesh have decided to impose a night curfew in worst hit districts. Take a listen.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. The Delhi government, faced with an alarming rise in coronavirus-related deaths, has started fining mask violators 2,000 rupees. It also shut down 2 markets for flouting social distancing norms. The markets were later unsealed, but the warning doesn't seem to have worked. The markets were crowded as soon as they reopened.
We are confident that despite the increasing number of cases, Delhi would be able to handle it well because we do have the medical infrastructure. Within the last week has increased 400 ICU beds to ensure, and these are in different Delhi government hospitals in different parts of the city.
Cases are rising not just in Delhi, entire North India bracing for a jump after Diwali celebrations. Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh and Himachal Pradesh have imposed night curfew in worst affected districts.
7 बजे से जितने भी दुकान हैं, व्यापारिक प्रतिष्ठान हैं, उनको बंद रखा जाएगा और 8 बजे से सारे एग्जम्प्टेड कैटेगरी के अलावा बाकी सारे लोग हैं वो अपने घरों में रहें, दुकान सब बंद रहें और जो उल्लंघन करेगा उनके खिलाफ कार्रवाई किया जाएगा।
The new wave of COVID infections has the other states worried. Maharashtra, which has seen a drop in COVID cases after being the pandemic epicenter for months, is taking no chances. It has made mandatory for passengers taking flights and trains from Delhi, Rajasthan, Gujarat and Goa to carry COVID-negative RT-PCR certificates. Next 1 week will be crucial for North India as COVID cases, as a result of crowding during the festival season, could emerge now. State governments are now scurrying to implement the COVID safety norms with an iron hand. But one wonders if the crackdown has come a few weeks too late. Bureau Report, India Today.
After facing flack over the draconian changes in the Kerala Police Act, Pinarayi Vijayan-led Kerala government has been forced to backtrack now. The contentious amendments empowered the police to arrest anyone for cyberbullying and defamation. Here's more on that report.
Widespread protests have forced the left front government in Kerala to put a draconian ordinance against defamation on hold, as hastily as it was drafted and signed into law. CM Pinarayi Vijayan on Monday said the law will not be implemented now. A decision will be taken after discussions in the assembly.
Government doesn't consult the party.
The climb down by the Vijayan government came after a nudge from the CPM central leadership.
It has been announced by the Chief Minister that this is not been kept on hold, won't be implemented till the Assembly considers it. That is the way in which parliamentary democracy must function, that once it becomes the law notified in the Gazette, the rescinding authority is the elected state assembly. That is what has been said by the Chief Minister. Till then it will be kept on hold. That means it is not going to be implemented as law.
The Kerala Police Act Amendment Ordinance signed by the Governor on Saturday provides for 3 years jail for threatening, abusing humiliating or defaming any individual intentionally knowing the allegations to be false. The Vijayan government had claimed the law is aimed at checking cyberbullying. One of the instances cited to justify the draconian law was the abusive trolling faced by activist and film personality Bhagyalakshmi. The activist had then barged into the troll, Vijay Nair's office, and assaulted him, alleging police inaction on their complaints. The Congress and BJP, however, claimed the new law was to muzzle criticism of CM Vijayan, whose aides are under cloud in the gold scam.
This cannot be accepted, and the Congress party and UDF will fight to the last for withdrawing this legislation as early as possible.
കേരള പോലീസ് ആക്ട് ഭേദഗതി ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടുള്ള സംസ്ഥാന ഗവൺമെന്റിന്റെ തീരുമാനം അഭിപ്രായ സ്വാതന്ത്ര്യത്തിന്മേലുള്ള കടന്നുകയറ്റമാണ്. ജനാധിപത്യ വിരുദ്ധമായിട്ടുള്ള നടപടിയാണ്. സംസ്ഥാനത്ത് അപ്രഖ്യാപിത അടിയന്തരാവസ്ഥ നടപ്പാക്കാനാണ് ശ്രീ പിണറായി വിജയൻ ശ്രമിക്കുന്നത്.
The present ordinance against bullying would lapse in 6 months if not ratified by the State Assembly. It needs to be seen on whether this will be brought back after addressing concerns of the opposition or whether this would be buried silently. With camera person Tiruvananthapuram for India Today.
The battle for Hyderabad has now taken a communal turn. BJP Yuva Morcha Chief Tejasvi Surya, while addressing a crowd today, called the AIMIM Chief Asaduddin Owaisi an avatar of Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the founder of Pakistan. He added that a vote for Owaisi is like voting against India. Taking a jibe at Telangana Chief Minister KCR, the BJP MP accused him of wanting to make Hyderabad like Istanbul. He added that KCR, AIMIM want to make Hyderabad like Pakistan, and that the BJP, on the other hand, wants to make it like Bhagyanagar, which is a city of good fortune. Owaisi, meanwhile, while speaking at a rally, accused the BJP of inciting communal tensions ahead of polls. On Friday, Telangana BJP chief and MP Bandi Sanjay Kumar tweeted accusing TRS of having links with terrorists due to their association with the AIMIM. KCR's son and Telangana minister slammed the BJP MP, calling his comments here illogical and baseless.
If you vote for Owaisi here, Owaisi becomes strong in Maharashtra. If you vote for Owaisi here, Owaisi becomes strong in Bihar. If you vote for Owaisi here, Owaisi becomes strong in a Muslim locality in Karnataka. If you support Owaisi here, Owaisi will become strong in Uttar Pradesh. And what does Owaisi mean? Who is Owaisi? Owaisi is Muhammad Ali Jinnah's new avatar. We must defeat him. केसीआर जी का विजन क्या था? वो हैदराबाद को इस्तांबुल बनाना चाहते हैं. और इस्तांबुल किस राष्ट्र का राजधानी है? टर्की का. और टर्की क्या है? 100% मुस्लिम कंट्री. Which is why I am not surprised that they are in partnership with MIM. Because MIM is a Muslim-only party which wants to make Hyderabad of India look like Hyderabad of Pakistan. We have decided our sankalp is to not let you make Hyderabad Istanbul. We will make Hyderabad. That is our sankalp.
अरे भाई, रोहिंग्या अगर हैदराबाद में है तो फिर अमित शाह क्या कर रहे, होम मिनिस्ट्री क्या कर रही, इंटेलिजेंस ब्यूरो क्या कर रहा? निकालो उनको. हम क्या रोक रहे हैं उनको? हमारे को क्या करना है? नहीं, वोटर लिस्ट में तो बताओ, वोटर लिस्ट चलो निकालो. एक 100 नाम दिखाओ हमारे को इलेक्शन होने तक. मैं चैलेंज कर रहा हूं, 100 नाम दिखाओ तुम. चलो, वो भी नहीं दिखाते. अच्छा, वोटर लिस्ट मैं दारुसलाम में बैठ के बनाता हूं. अब बोलो, दिमाग देखो प्यारों का. क्यों ट्यूबलाइट भी बोलना बेकार है लोगों को. थम्स अप भी नहीं बोल सकते उनको. वोटर लिस्ट मैं बनाता हूं, वोटर लिस्ट आप बनाते हो, वोटर लिस्ट इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया बनाता है, वोटर लिस्ट स्टेट इलेक्शन कमीशन बना. नहीं, 40,000. अरे निकालो ना, 1,000 नाम तो दिखाओ. मगर मकसद क्या है कि यहां पर हिंदुओं और मुसलमानों में नफरत पैदा हो जाना.
Netflix brand new series A Suitable Boy finds itself marred in a brewing controversy. An FIR has been lodged against the series in Madhya Pradesh's Rewa, claiming that some scenes in the show hurts Hindu sentiments. Here's how it does.
An innocent, innocuous kiss in the center of a political storm. A Muslim boy, a Hindu girl, a web series streaming on Netflix. And a kiss filmed in it at a temple has now found itself woven in the narrative of love jihad. Exploding on social media with the hashtag boycott Netflix. The scene of contention shows the protagonists, Lata and Kabir, kissing in what is supposed to be a temple structure. This scene is now being projected by a few as hurting Hindu sentiments and disrespecting a religious place of worship.
मंदिर में भगवान शिवलिंग के सामने और मंदिर प्रांगण में जहाँ पे भजन चल रहा है उस समय ये सीन को दर्शाए गए हैं और मैं मांग करता हूँ कि नेटफ्लिक्स के जो इनके अधिकारी हैं उनके खिलाफ केस दर्ज हो, FIR दर्ज हो और नॉन अवेलेबल.
In fact, so sentimental has the issue gotten that the Madhya Pradesh Home Minister, Dr. Narottam Mishra, ordered an investigation. And since then, an FIR has now been registered under Section 295A of the IPC against Monica Shergill and Ambika Khurana. Shergill is the Vice President of Netflix India, while Khurana is the Director of Public Policy at the streaming site.
हमारी संस्कृति पर चोट जो पहुंचाने की कोशिश होती है, हमारी सभ्यता पर जो चोट पहुंचाने की कोशिश होती है, वो क्यों? सवाल इस अकेले प्रकरण का नहीं है. हम लगातार उनकी चेन देख रहे हैं. ये चेन इस तरह की है जो भावनाओं को कहीं न कहीं आहत करती है.
This has now led to two very distinct points of views, both social and political.
इसमें कोई शक नहीं है कि जब आप किसी भी समाज का, किसी भी धार्मिक संगठन का या किसी भी धर्म का आप तुष्टीकरण करते हैं तो उसके कारण से उनको शाय मिलती है कि वो कन्वर्जन की तरफ बढ़े और उसका अंतगतवा समाज के समरस पर असर पड़ता है.
हमारा धर्म हो, हमारा राष्ट्र हो, हमारी मान्यताएं हो, वो कोई भी इतनी कमजोर और दुर्बल नहीं है कि किसी ने कुछ दिखा दिया या कोई डिपिक्शन ऐसा है उससे उस पर चोट पहुंचे. अक्सर लोग धर्म खतरे में है, मजहब खतरे में है, उसके नाम पर क्या क्या हो रहा है हमारे देश में हम नहीं देख रहे हैं क्या?
The web series A Suitable Boy is director Meera Nair's television adaptation of Vikram Seth's novel A Suitable Boy, which released on Netflix on October 23rd. The 6-episode series is set in the backdrop of a newly independent India and is about a family's efforts to arrange the marriage of their daughter Lata to a suitable boy. Ishan Khattar, Tabu, Rasika Duggal are some of the stars seen in pivotal role in this series. The series was in itself critically panned for being contrived and stilted, especially in dialogue delivery. While till now there is no official response from Netflix on Meera Nair, the controversy has once again put the spotlight on freedom of expression and pluralism, on which is built Indian ethos. Bureau Report, India Today.
And let's move to our good news story today, and it comes from Nandurbar, where an Anganwadi worker has been helping pregnant women. She supplies food supplements, baby weighing machines, etc. to the needy. Let's take a look at this special report.
The tribals of Nandarbar staying across the Narmada have a savior in times of COVID. Meet Anganwadi worker Relu Vasve, who rows 18 kilometers daily to attend tribal babies and expecting mothers of 2 Maharashtra hamlets by facing off the Narmada river. Relu, after completing her work in the morning, set sail alone in the afternoon to visit hamlets with food supplements and baby weighing machine, using a boat borrowed from local fishermen. After the boat ride, she has to trek up the hilly terrain to reach the hamlets. An accomplished swimmer, Relu doesn't fear the river, but is worried about hapless tribal children missing out on medical care and nutrition.
लहान बाळ आहे आणि तरी मी लाभार्थ्यांपर्यंत पूरक पोषण आहार पोहोचवते. एकूण 2 तास प्रवास करून आणते मी आणि पाड्याला 1 तास लागतं पाड्याला जायला प्रवास करून.
Relu's husband is all praise for his wife and helps her whenever possible.
जे कुपोषित बालक असतात त्यांना सुद्धा MNTचे जे पाकिट असतात ते सुद्धा मी त्यांना मुलगीहून रेफर करतो. म्हणजे मुलगीला गाडीत टाकतो आणि ते शिंदूर नाल्यापर्यंत माझी मिसेस घेऊन येते आणि ते चिमलखेडीला आणल्यानंतर प्रत्येक पाड्यावर जाऊन ती माझी मिसेस स्वतः नाव चालवून ती माझ्या जे चिमलखेडी येथील जे पाडे आहेत अलीघाट पाडा म्हणून त्या पाड्यामध्ये प्रत्येक लाभार्थ्यांपर्यंत चिमलखेडी या गावामध्ये प्रत्येक लाभार्थ्यांपर्यंत ती पोहोचवते.
Her selfless work has earned her praise from all quarters, including the Maharashtra Chief Minister. Hamlets of Aligarh and Dadar can't thank Relu enough. After all, the well-being of their babies is because of this selfless woman. Bureau Report, India Today.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.